The Eastern Cape has seen a very high number of revelers travelling and flocking into the province to enjoy the festive season, and this has had a very, very great impact on the business activity of the province. This has also a very, very dire impact on roads activity, especially regarding the number of accidents that have been reported so far. Around 100 and more accidents have been reported, and also fatalities are also a part of those accidents. So a lot has happened on the roads in the province, and we are now joined by the provincial spokesperson for transport, Unathi Binqose, who's going to be explaining to us the impact of travellers or road activity, and also just the accidents that may have been experienced in the province. Budi, thank you very much for your time. Can you please just let us in on the the activity of the roads and maybe the number of accidents that may have been experienced throughout the festive season?
Look, we are seeing a peak in terms of traffic volumes. A lot of traffic that is outbound. It's those people who are making their way back to their workplaces after spending some time with their families back home. Sadly, on the first half of the festive season, when they were moving in, we've seen quite a number of accidents, a bit more than we experienced last year. It's understandable though, because this year, as compared to the last year, there were a lot more freedom. There was a lot more freedom and less restrictions in terms of COVID-19 restrictions, and that meant we had a high volume of traffic on our roads, and with that there's a high possibility of crashes as well. And sadly, there were a few that have accounted for quite a number of lives, and you are quite right, we have reached triple figures in terms of fatalities so far, and we can only hope that it won't get any worse than it already is now, as people are making their way back to their workplaces. But we wish to take our hats off to the traffic officers, law enforcement officers generally, and rapid response teams who have worked their socks off to ensure that the majority of road users that were coming into the province and those that were leaving the province made it to their destinations safely. And of course, heads off to those majority of drivers who have also abided by the rules of the road and ensure that they make it home safely. Because the reality is that as much as we have lost lives, and sadly we have lost quite a few, but there are a lot more who have made it home safely, and it's down to the work of these selfless law enforcement officers and rapid response teams like your emergency medical teams. If it wasn't for them, possibly these fatalities would have been a lot more. So we salute them as well.
And when we're looking at the causes of most of the accidents that you've seen on the roads, can you please just, when you're looking at it, on your inspection of the cases, what have you discovered to be the most common cause for these accidents?
Look, a lot of crashes that we've seen on our roads, those involving vehicles, are head-on collisions. And head-on collisions tell one story and only one story. That one of the drivers was irresponsible. He overtook or she overtook where she was or he was not supposed to. It tells a story of one innocent driver who found him or herself being dragged into an accident he or she did not create. That's the sad reality, and it's down to human behavior. But leading the statistics, sadly, are pedestrians. And on hindsight, we may realize that maybe a lot of our messaging has been focused on motorists and drivers in particular, but maybe not so much on pedestrians. But we are seeing a lot of pedestrians perishing on our roads. And the MEC for Transport in the Eastern Cape, Mr. Kolengata, has made it a point that our people, those who are working within the Department of Transport, maybe change the messaging a bit to focus a bit more on pedestrians as well.
And when we're looking at the quality of our roads, we understand that a great impact, that has a great impact on the number of accidents. Can you please just enlighten us in terms of how far is the province, in terms of improving the quality of our roads, and are we going to see anything different come 2023?
Look, we wish not to downplay the issue of road infrastructure. It is a major problem in the province, and the MEC for Transport in the Eastern Cape, Mr. Kolengata, has called on those who are responsible for infrastructure to work triple as hard to ensure that we attend to this issue of road infrastructure challenges within the province. It is worth noting that not every stretch of the road in the province is budgeted for at provincial level. Some roads are budgeted for at municipal level, but of course it's not an easy distinction to make for our people. Ours is to make sure that we attend to those challenges. But when it comes to the issue of crashes, we've seen quite a number of them happening on national roads that are well maintained, and a lot of accidents are not necessarily down to the condition of roads, but are down to the way you and I as drivers are behaving on our roads. Until we change our behavior, maybe then we will be able to see a reduction, a meaningful reduction in terms of the number of fatalities that we are seeing on our roads. They are unacceptably high. Graveyards are full of people who should have still been alive but are now no more because of irresponsible driving. So we need to change our behavior, and us as government will attend to the issue of road infrastructure. If you look around in the province of the Eastern Cape, a lot of people will admit that they are encountering a lot of headaches from a lot of road infrastructure projects that are taking place. The N2 between Konce and East London, the R75 between R72 rather between East London and Port Alfred, R63 between Fort Beaufort and Alice. Those are some of the projects that are taking place in the province as means of attending to this issue of road infrastructure in the Eastern Cape.
Right, thank you very much, Buti, for your time. That is a spokesperson for Department of Transport in the province, Unathi Binqose, enlightening us there on some of the factors that contributed to some of the accidents that we've experienced in the province, saying that they've run up to 100 and maybe 150, and also just also enlightening us in terms of the magnitude, or rather how dire or how serious the accidents that have been experienced in the province are. And for now, it's back to you in studio.